Good evening. Life is precious because it was given to us as a gift. We all wake up in the morning with the alarm and say, let us sleep for 5 more minutes. But we forget to be thankful that we are alive after a good night's sleep. Billions of people are so immersed in their day-to-day problems or achieving their goals that they never actually stop to realize that we have been given a wonderful gift of life. Let us preserve this beautiful gift of life. A very warm welcome to everyone in this 60th chapter of e-Bookery English. My name is Shamla, and with me is Nitusmita Sekia. Together, we will be hosting this episode today. Founders of e-Bookery English are Anil Thomas and Faisal Ibrahim. This is an online platform for storytelling and book review and to bring together authors from different parts of the world. Once again, a very warm welcome to one and all to the 60th chapter of e-Bookery English. Our speakers today are from Philippines, Paul, Angelo, Varona, Lazo, and Robinson Tumapos. Today's storytelling will be by my co-host, Nitusmita Sekia. Nitusmita Sekia is an instructor in the National Cadet Corps by profession and is a keen worshipper of literature. She is a young, budding poet and story writer and has been appreciated by the World Society of Poetry. She writes in both English and her regional language, Assamese. She's an active social worker and interested in animal welfare. Today, she's going to present her own story. Welcome, Nitusmita.
Thank you so much, Shamla ji. Such a nice way you have begun that today's show. I'm very much privileged to be actually part of Brain City, and really I enjoy every session of this book review program. And we always, everyone, we get chance to listen to a lot of intellectual and always informed with a lot of things, learning. And of course, we get friends also. So it's a very beautiful platform. And for that, all this initiative, I thank Sir Anil for introducing me, for bringing me to this platform. So today is my actually first day as a storyteller. It's a story written by me only. It is published in the Insay magazine, coming from Calcutta, India. It is based on the theme of the social attitude towards a rape victim. So the title of the story is Victim. It's a very long story. I will cut it short to keep in view of the timing of the today's program show. So here Arun keeps calling his mother in excitement because he wants to show his mother something precious gift. Mother. So mom, Miss Shanti. That day she was busy because she has arranged a kitty party at her place for all the women of the colony. But still, Arun keeps calling, loitering in the room like a restless brook. Mother. At his call, Mrs. Shanti almost shouted, "I'm coming, dear son, coming. Wait a minute." And since morning, she has been busy in cooking and decorating the house. And that is why she couldn't give a single time for any other work. But her only son, when Arun called her so eagerly, she got surprised, and finally she, coming after a few minutes, she holding a cleaning towel for drying her wet hands. She shows up in the sitting room where Arun was waiting eagerly with his surprise. Mrs. Shanti, with a questioning face, rolls her eyes from Arun to her unknown guest, who is sitting there with her son, a girl of her son's age. She was beautiful. She's beautiful. Mrs. Shanti speak to herself in her mind and observe the girl very minutely. While his mother, Arun's mother, is in her own thoughts and doubts. Without losing a second, Arun grabs his mother from back and slowly, in hushed words, speaks in the ear of his mother. Ma, she's Madhu, my friend, my love, and she is my precious gift to you. Overwhelmed with happiness, Mrs. Shanti holds her own face in disbelief and stares with a smile at Madhu, who was very nervous seeing the emotional moment of mother and son. Madhu is shy and keeps her head little low to avoid Mrs. Shanti's sharp eyes. Mrs. Shanti goes near Madhu and pinches her cheek with love. She exclaims, "Your love is very beautiful, my darling son. Precious choice you have made." "Thanks, mother," Arun replies. "So, dear, tell me about you." Mrs. Shanti takes a seat near Madhu and
Sorry, Smita, can you adjust your headphone because it's yeah, maybe the wire.
now
Move it away from you. Move it
am
away
I
from your
audible
body.
now? Proper?
You're audible, but you move it away from your body.
Okay, sir.
Now it's
Okay,
perfect,
fine,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
Sorry,
great.
sir. So, Mrs. Santi takes a seat near Madhu and inquires basic information about Madhu. Madhu replies very politely, "Yes, Auntie, my name is Madhu Bora. Arun and I were classmates in school and now in university." So, Mrs. Shanti remarks, "Wonderful. So, what is your father doing nowadays? And where do you stay?" General question she asked. Mother, Arun in lazy tone interrupts Mrs. Shanti. "Stop asking all this old typical question, Mama. You know, Ma, Madhu is going to be a judge soon, and she is preparing for her exam, and we have decided to marry each other." With a surprised face, Mrs. Shanti gives a stern look to her son. She replies to Arun, "I am not asking any useless question, but I must know about the girl with whom my only son is going to live his whole life. What do you say, son? Is there anything wrong?" With arch eyebrows, a grave look in the eyes, a firm voice, all together bring alive the woman of wealth, the aristocratic Mrs. Shanti, who does maintain a position in the society as a daughter of very wealthy tea planter of Assam. She is very conscious about her status and cannot let just anyone become her daughter-in-law. She clears her son in firm words and turns to Madhu to continue her inquiry. Madhu comes to interfere finally. She says to Arun first, "It's okay, Arun. This is very formal and normal. Don't you remember our first meeting in college? These are the same question you asked me to become friends with me." But Madhu, Arun's face is now a little pale, as if he's trying to avoid something or scared of something terrible. He becomes a bit restless, which is again obvious to his mother and Madhu. "Arun, are you okay?" Mrs. Shanti asks her son. "I'm okay, Mom," Arun replies in an uneasy tone. "So, Madhu, where do you live?" Again, Mrs. Shanti start questioning Madhu. "Auntie, I live in Lukmani Nagar near the primary school." "Oh, I know that area. And your father?" Mrs. Shanti replies with very casually replies, "He's a farmer. He grows commercial crops." Madhu replies. Then Mrs. Shanti with a stern look, "Oh, that's great. She was a bit worried. What did you say the name of your father? When Madhu replies, Mr. Kamalesh Soliha, and Mrs. Shanti frowned back. Kamalesh Saliha? Yes, Auntie. Mrs. Shanti frowns as if she has just heard something terrible, something unpleasant when Madhu tells her father's name. And Mrs. Shanti shrinks her eyes and turns to the other side to face her son, who is sitting silent. Arun? Yes, mother, Arun replies, though Arun is not showing any reaction, but he realizes the root of Mrs. Shanti's unhappiness. She can't be my daughter-in-law. Thoughtfully, Mrs. Shanti pronouncing her words. Her past, she she is a actually she was a victim of the final word she couldn't pronounce. Then Arun frowned back. Mother, please stop. You are insulting my friend. Mother, Madhu is my love. How can I stop Arun? Shanti replies to her son. Arun, if you marry her, we won't be able to face society. Everyone will spit on us. You can choose any girl of any caste, any religion, but not this girl. My son, Mrs. Shanti finishes her words in one breath and stand up to leave the room. Then Arun frowned back. Mother, replies Mrs. Shanti again. No, Arun, don't try to convince me. I cannot accept a raped girl as my daughter-in-law. You know who we are. Maintaining her aristocratic attitude, straightforwardly, Mrs. Shanti cleared her words to her son. Mother, you are crossing the limit. You cannot talk this way about her. It is not her fault. Now Arun is replying to his mother. And I don't see anything bad in her for this. She is a wonderful human being and perfect to be my life partner. Arun finally argues with his mother. Arun, now Madhu comes. Arun, it's okay. I didn't mind Auntie's word. She is telling the truth only. It was me who, Madhu says to Arun, and she didn't finish her sentence. No, Madhu, Arun cut her off and no, Madhu, she is not. My mother, maybe she is not actually correct. She may be my mother, but that doesn't allow her to disrespect you, insult you. Arun replied with rage. Arun, Madhu gives a pensive looks to Arun with her teary eyes. Arun goes in one corner of the room and stares at the wall for a while, deep in thoughts and sighs. When Mrs. Shanti is about to leave the room, suddenly Arun returns from his thoughts and says to his mother, Mother, we both know who you are, but I am still unknown about who am I. Who is my father? Since my school days, I haven't ever been able to answer this question. Mother, tell me, who is my father? Why we are not with him? Now it's Mrs. Shanti's turn to frown back. Arun, how dare you? Mrs. Shanti shouts at her son in rage. Yes, Arun replies. Why not you? Now it's hurting you, right? In a grave voice, Arun says to his mother, Mother, all those years I have known the truth and kept it inside of me. I have never questioned you because I didn't want to hurt your dignity. But today, Mrs. Shanti, with trembling voice, remarks Arun, Arun, here I conclude the story. I hope you all have liked it. And we all know this, what actually I am trying to tell you all through this story. And thank you so much, Shamlaji. And I try to send a message. We all know what story actually works. And so, since history, we have been witnessing how through story we teach moral, we teach our students a lot of things because of this storytelling techniques and process. We are known to our history, our past, our glorious, our, you can say, origin and all. This is all story works for society, for humankind, for teaching, for learning, a lot of things. So here I finish my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitusmita. It's a lovely story, and thank you for sharing the beautiful story with us with the morals. Thank you so much, Nitusmita. Now I would like to invite Anil sir to introduce the speakers of today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful story. Let me call Camille Thomas from US actually before moving on. Maybe she got a point actually to say about your story. She said it's a lovely story. So let me hear from Camille. Camille, are you there?
Hi, it's Nitusmita. Yes, very nice to meet you, and thank you for sharing your story. Really kind of captured, there are so many dynamics to that story, between him and the woman he loved, between the things that happened with his mother, that affected who he is now, that conversation that sometimes parents and children don't want to have, but that's vitally necessary going forward. It's about perception. It's about, being who you are, being honest with yourself, being honest with your children. There's just so many things packed in that short story that you just gave us, but it was beautifully written. I loved it. And, when you leave that in, and that's what I'm going to leave you with today, you're like, I want more. But thank you so much for sharing your heart, for all of the morals, all of the messages, all of the things that we can take away from just that little bit of story. It was packed with stuff. So thank you very much.
Thank you
really
so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Camille. Now it's time for, let me introduce the two great speakers from the land of Philippines. I gladly welcome you all on the behalf of e-Bookery team for the prestigious occasion of e-Bookery celebrating 60th session today. The concept of bringing readers and writers is on the same platform. That is our unique selling proposition. And we enjoy this journey with you. My journey from suicide to revival, that's the book is going to be reviewed today, and that is on Live Story. Paul is the co-author of this book. Paul is a seasoned organizer who works with organizations to develop and implement their training roadmaps. He's a business strategist, angel writer, and most of his work is targeted towards the behavioral change. He is an expert in problem solving and decision making and stakeholder management. He works for many corporates. Paul, Angelo, Varona, Lazo, welcome on to e-Bookery platform. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on to e-Bookery.
Thank you, Anil, and thank you everybody for joining. And I have to thank you again, Anil, for coming up with that term, angel writer. I mean, my second name is Angelo, but I don't think I'm an angel, but angel writer, that's truly an interesting term. So just a little background about the book, and maybe why Anil referred to me as an angel writer. I will literally say that this is the result of the COVID lockdown, if you want to say. Here in the Philippines, it started in March 20. I left my job in August because I couldn't agree with the way the organization was handling the COVID situation. And so I was stuck at home trying to figure out what to do. And I joined the course in how to convert your experiences into online business. In that course, Robinson was also there. And I shared a little snippet of a book that I was writing because it did cross my mind to write a book. And Robinson also shared his. And when I saw it, I said, I need to help this guy. That's the first thing that crossed my mind. I said, so I volunteered to help. At that point in time, I think I was thinking too, I wasn't thinking far enough, because when I saw what Robinson presented to me, I said, this is difficult to put sense and order into. So essentially, this is the story of Rob. It's not mine, but I helped him, put a sequence to it. I helped him with the English and bringing it all together. Essentially, it's his story. What I'd like to do is maybe just read a little bit of the chapters, okay? The book is essentially broken down into three broad areas. The first part is about where he came from, why he tried to commit suicide as a child. Then the second part, which Robinson will definitely be the one to explain because that's the core of our message, it's how he gets out of it, how he moves out of that situation. And the last part are generally tips and tricks on how to maintain the momentum that you gain. All right, so just quickly, I'll briefly read what a couple, maybe the first chapter, you want to say? Here we go. I can still remember that day clearly. The cool morning promised a sunny and warm day. I could still hear the ruffling of our flag as it ascended the flagpole. My pride reached a crescendo as the sun embraced the flag and the colors burst into life. It was at that point I knew it was my turn, and I mustered all the vigor and vitality a young lad's voice could bring. In my mind, I could already hear the rest of the school joining in and singing. Strangely, there was silence, and even though it was only for a second, it seemed like an eternity to me. The laughing and jeering started. The explosive cruelty of the laughter pierced my heart, and my ego shattered the very essence of who I was. I ran as fast as I could. I could only see cruel eyes and hear the resonating echo of scathing laughter. The rope around my neck gave me a reassuring promise of release. I could hear people calling me and at the same time could not hear them. Suffocation is all I could hear, the desperation in my mother's voice, the agony and terror on her face. Her words, I wish I had suffocated you, echoed in an infinite space that beckoned freedom. They say that a child of 9 does not fully understand the finality of death, and yet for me, it was the very finality that I saw. It was my older brother who noticed the emptiness of the look in my face and the rope around my neck. He hugged me tightly, wanting to keep me away from the grip of death. Had it not been for him and the whispered words, "We love you," I would have granted my mother's wish, and for once I would have made her proud of me. This was not my first attempt at suicide. The scars on my wrist stand as a silent witness to the dance I had with Mr. Gillette. How could this happen? How could a child think that a tango with Dr. Gillette was the answer to life's questions? Does a child even think about life and death? What pushed him to this point? I was born into poverty, not crushing, yet enough to make everyday life stressful, difficult, and miserable. Bickering and fighting were regular events. Verbal abuse was a language I knew. Hugs and kisses and celebrating each other was not the Tumapos way. In fact, many times I would sleep outside of the house. I reasoned there was no space inside, but my inner self told me that my family had no space for me in their hearts. The stress of poverty took its toll on all of us. My father was a man whom I felt did not know how to love. I could never have that father to son or son to father talk. I could never express my emotions and feelings to my father, maybe because I could never feel him expressing his emotions and feelings to me. My mother was a woman who appeared to be more of a drill sergeant who could only express the tough love. Disappointment was all I could feel from my mother. Maybe she was questioning how she could have given birth to such a monstrosity. I think father and mother absolved themselves of their feelings of guilt by spinning a tale of how my mother felt during her pregnancy. If you watch the movie Happy Feet, I guess you could say that the egg dropped. Well, pretty much, those are just the first few paragraphs of the book, but it's explaining the situation that Rob was in. As a child, he was born with a cleft palate, and admittedly, if the first time you see it, they do look like monsters. They do, even if they smile, even if the eyes are smiling, they really look, alien, if you want to say. And much of this affected Rob. Now, from here, I'd like to pass it over to Rob because he'll be expressing how he moved from the situation I described to getting out of that situation and having a better understanding of what faced him and what he had to do. Rob?
Yes.
Maybe I can introduce Rob in few words. Rob Robinson Tumapos, the first cleft public speaker in Philippines, or member of Philippine Association of Professional Speaker. He's a program head of the VG8 radio program in Philippines. An amazing gentleman. He's a lovely person to deal with. And thank you so much, actually, Paul, for every good deeds. Okay, and Paul is a real angel person for Robinson. Welcome on to e-Bookery. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Angelo. May I share experience so that people most and understand well. So may I share the screen? Wait for a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Robin.
Okay. Wait for a while.
Sure.
Most of the time, if I have a training or any seminar, I really use the PowerPoint or any presentation so that people really understand, not only for my words, but somehow it cannot get what I say or it cannot understand well to prepare a short short presentation for you to understand how my journey starts. So, allow me to. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I hope internet will cooperate. Allow me to present that one. Have you
Correct.
have you seen have you seen have
Yes.
you the presentation? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, the title of my book, I want to also recall is My Journey from Suicide to Revival, or in short, Revival. So how Robinson Tumapos became, how he revived himself from being a suicidal person. Then he started with artist at the young age. So, okay, let's start. So before let's get to know each other through my short story, and I hope you will inspire this very short story of mine. I was born at a small place. I was born with Cliff and Alice. So 5 months after my leg was 5 months after birth, I was my mother went to hospital for an operation. So my leg was fixed. My inner my palate inside is still unfixed because my mother never came back after a year because of trauma due to previous operation because she so cold blooded to my face, cold blooded to she cannot control his emotion to back again. So he thought that maybe I died or I died through operation. So with that, with that, right until now, no, I still my family never faced because I also developed trauma because of what my mother told me that that's okay, that that's okay. You can talk, people people will understand you along the way. So and my struggle, of course, came from birth. I was born this way, and this condition lead me to an early life of betrayal, discrimination, hatred, and ridicule. Because when I was 7 years old, I started everything emotionally, emotionally, broken. I want to terminate it most of the time at age of 7, and I always know that at age 7, when you go to school, back and forth, when you go to any places, when someone told me, they keep on, they keep on calling me all the time, most of the time. I want to get this. If we have the all activities, like for example, you know, uh, uh, my classmates don't want me to be part of that activity because they don't understand me and they keep on laughing me or they keep on making fun most of the time. So with that, I love to be isolated to operated. So I want to be isolated. I want to be in the house, and I don't want to see people. But of course, my mother told me you have to go to school. You have to go to school, or else uh, always his brain his you know uh really to he tried to put me to finish my elementary and in high school and college. So I have nothing to do but to follow the instruction, or else uh I was uh making uh a problem with my mother. So and with that, uh when I was 9 years old, I cannot understand I cannot understand, I cannot know what's happening on me, what's happening on there, why is people laughing at me, why they are making fun of me, and I don't know why my own family are mad at me every time I encounter with mad, or I try to refute their what they did to me, and then every time I don't follow, they keep on they keep on uh discriminate. And I don't know, being a 9 years old, I don't know what's happening. So I tried to commit suicide, not just once, but twice. And in my room, I have a dialect or place. So I try to cut my wrist until now. Because of too much depression. I cannot understand at a young age. I cannot understand what's happening, and all I want is to end my life because I'm very much addicted to the outside world, and I thought life is happy, life is beautiful, but for me, life is not beautiful. life is very, very different. And when I was and being alone, being alone is my best friend. In that time, being alone. I develop a fear of people. I have a fear of the people around me. So because I thought the people laughing me. They heard my voice. They are laugh. They are people funny. And the people following me to insult me. That's why I develop my own way to become alone. To become isolated. So most of the time I was in my house, in my room, and meeting some, I don't I realize that I was in my life. So every time I depressed, every time my mother, uh, you know, uh, anak understand me, and or every time my mother was angry too angry, he always tell me that when you want young, and I I try to kill you at you at I mean he always say to me that it's better to kill me inside the womb. So it's very disappointed, and I keep on crying. I keep on saying why. So I told myself that I hope for that time you took with me so that I will not experience this kind of life. That time you kill me that I don't want to feel this emotion, hatred, and blaming blaming God. And I almost, you know, I want to stop bullying. I want them to stop bullying me, but I can't. I want them to stop. Don't bully me. Don't take me funny. I don't nothing. I have nothing. I do nothing with you. I am here. Sitting down in my sitting down. I do nothing. But why you bullying me? What happened? I mean, what happened? What, 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 what's doing? Why you people following me or any stuff? You know, that's why I want them to stop that. At the end, I just to cry and cry and cry. All my life, from elementary to high school, I keep on crying. You know, I keep on crying. Every time I heard it calling me, I do nothing. I try to fight with them. I try to fight with them, but still there are a lot of That's why I really after one what called the suffocation. I suffocate myself every now and then. Suffocation is my my mother, my brother, what they told me that I love I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving and many times and how many times you ask them, why me that? Are you trying that this kind of word? Why me? And in my age, 7, 9, 15, I keep asking God, why me? For there there are millions of people around the world. Why me? So I keep on asking God. Or how many times how many times you waiting God answer for all your prayer? I keep on asking God or I waiting God answer on my prayer. Or how many times do you waiting God answer all your prayers? maybe you are waiting for 1 month, you are waiting for a year. How about 20 years, 50 years? Are you still waiting for that answer? Me, I keep on asking God, and, and God answer me uh, after 20 years in my life. And it was, I realized it was only it was only after a life-changing accident that I realized I was enslaved. I was an accident. I was horrible accident, water typhoon. And I was in the hospital for 3 hours unconscious. I thought I am in the heaven. I thought I in the heaven. I saw the white cloud and I am unconscious. I don't know what's happening to me. And after 3 hours, after 4 hours, I back to myself. And when I open my when I back, back to my conscious, I took people around me, my family, my brother, my father, and people crying 4 hours and unconscious. Horrible accident. My my motorcycle was uh, accident too because of that horrible. But I have no helmet, no helmet, no ear. 100 kilometer per 100 kilometers. I thought I, I was in my life. But after 4 hours, when I feel and when the doctor asked for a CT scan, I refused. I refused to have a CT scan because that time I have a allergic reaction that time. That's why I refused because I want to my fellow are waiting for me, but they don't know I was in a horrible accident. But when I see my body, low weight, low. I mean, it's an amazing or unexpected, and I know God, God is there for me. You know, I know imagine people say it was it was uh horrible accident, but nothing happened in you. Nothing your body is still, you know, nothing happened. That's why they are not imagine I able to survive. And in that accident, I realized that I was actually mental. You know, I don't know. You imagine literature for me is all about within, not the outside. Actually, literature. That's why I keep on following. Uh, I keep on following myself. I keep determining myself because of that. So one is self-pity. Self-pity is self-absorbed and happiness over one's own struggle, or it's an emotion directed toward others with goal, attraction, empathy, or help. This is the reason why I cannot move on because I'm not happy myself. I cannot accept who I am. I keep asking what is my purpose in life, what is my mission in life, what is my passion in life. I always blame others. I blame God most of the time. And I always think myself, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. All the time, for the long period of time, I keep on teaching myself. And now become self-determination. I determine myself to this word will use my strength or self-pity. So this is the reason why or guilty we used to justify our limitation. So I determine myself. I determine myself. I am forever broken, like nothing I can do. Or you are determined yourself if you are thinking I'm so old or you are determined in yourself, I can't be like you. And even though I know how much to say, you are determined in yourself. If you are thinking I'm loser, I'm caring for life. You are determined in yourself. If you are saying I'm ugly, I'm a monster, I'm so fast. For me, I I determined in my own self. I am not people. So I keep on blaming the outside world. Uh, I never try to blame myself what's happening inside. So the problem is within because I keep on determining my own self. And it is, of course, if you have emotional self-pity, if you have mental attitude of always discriminate yourself, at, at the end, at the bottom, you will be abused, right? You will be abusing yourself. Like maybe you have to try, maybe you have to try to suicide, like what happened to you. So I started with self-pity, up to determination, and adjusting myself. That's why I tried to commit suicide. Because I cannot understand what's going on inside. And in sacrifice, there's so much to sacrifice. How do I win the battle within the past and the present? How do I win? Win the battle will require how to go through sacrifices or what we call that self-pity, self-determination, self-abuse. How do you win? Because it's a battle within you. This is not a battle within the outside. It's a battle for long period of time. Battle within. So you need to accept accepting and forgiving. So when I realize, so I able to accept accepting and forgiving. Not that sorry for myself. I forgive myself for what what doing. For blaming other. I accept. I accept everything. I accept their discrimination. I accept their bullying. I accept their calumny and forgive them. Because the only way to have to win the battle is to love. Instead of hate, right? If you don't have I have a quote. If you don't love darkness, sorry. I hate the darkness, I hate resistance, I hate obstacle, I hate race, I hate failure, I hate challenges. That's why nothing happens to me. But when I try to love, try try to accept and forgive, you know, I try to accept discouragement. I try to accept resistance on everything. I try to accept and move on to the next. And now, it me. I am a neural mentor right now, fortunately, at the suicide, but I'm able to speak all over the Philippines, from north, south, west. I'm able to inspire thousands of people already because of that winning the battle. To the course, because of that, uh, I am the host of the online host show about the disability. So I'm able to I have invited international teacher all over the world. So I realized the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude of life. It's more important is attitude, not the money, not the position, but for me, attitude is more important along the way. Why I able to get it. So with that, thank you. Thank you for that short story and all will continue the rest. So back to you, Neil.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Robert,
Robinson.
much.
Thank you. Wow. You are really a hero, warrior of life. Your every words was piercing our heart, our mind. And I can see in our chat, everyone is telling inspiring story. You know, I must salute you before leaving the stage to our audience for put their reviews. I want to share a few words. It is your words, your fight. Very few people actually, comes with this attitude towards life, which successfully come out of his that circle of pain, traumatic stage. And in that level, in that case, you have actually owned your life. And here I would like to thank Paul Angelo Lazo sir for coming forward for Robinson and giving your hand to bring out this wonderful book. Its title itself suggesting what this book is having in its chest. It's an inspiring book, biographical touches there, and actually such kind of books we need in our society for our students to change their attitude towards life. Everyone is not perfect. With imperfection, actually, we have to live our life and make it a successful one. I will not take much time. Here now, I request our audiences to put their reviews for today's beautiful, inspiring guest of speakers. And here in the reaction button, you can raise your hand to put your reviews. Please.
I'd just like to contribute one very important aspect of the book.
Sir.
I think we started today when Shaimala was saying that God gave us our lives, which is his most precious gift. I still think that God gave us a more powerful gift. He gave us the gift, the ability to choose. We can choose how we react. We can choose how we live our lives. Earlier we were having a conversation about different people, different ethnicities, and somebody wants to ask me, Paul, what do you think about charisma? And I said, look, charisma is not based on how you look, how good you smell, how well you sound, but charisma is based on how you look at people.
Exactly.
That's what charisma is on.
Very
if I look at you and I see something beautiful, I'll come across as charismatic. Okay. So much of Rob's story hinges around him having to make these choices, realizing that he has these choices and actually making them. So essentially that was one of the bigger things in the book that had to, when I was writing, hey, this is pretty cool. Okay. I'm Catholic. They teach us that the Holy Spirit gives us 7 gifts. And I realized I think the Holy Spirit gave us 8. He gave us the power to choose. Thank you.
Exactly, sir. And it is we who take the imperfection as a gift, and we can change our life, our attitude, and we can be a winner. So here I request our audiences to give review words, if anyone wants to say up. And
Yeah, Nitu.
shall I
Major sir, before you leave, you want to have a few words?
Yeah, both the sessions were absolutely fantastic. The energy that Psyche brought to the platform, and the calm and measured manner in which second speaker was able to articulate himself were truly marvelous. I particularly liked the way Robinson said the power to choose, self-criticism, how it is different from self-evaluation, and how healing starts taking place. Truly fantastic insights, and I thoroughly enjoyed both the reviews. A big thanks to both Saikia and Robinson. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Are you inviting, sir? Anil, sir? Inviting?
No, it's open now. I mean, like, Somasa, you want to add anything further? Yes, please go ahead. You take your time. I mean, like, so right.
It was very pleasant surprise, actually. I was thinking there was some connectivity issue for me, and like the way Robinson bounced back. So once I decided there's no issue, just it get connected, everything connected. So really appreciate Mr. Paul Angelo, to pick up a pearl, like a lotus, whatever may be the fallen thing. And then from there, you are bouncing back. So I kind of very much touched by his book, because the book I am planning to write long time, the title is You Can Bounce Back. So what more inspiration one can get? And as he said, very simple fashion, he's telling God is waiting, actually. The Almighty is waiting. Only is it up to you to take and tap into this. So that resource is available for all of us in this universe, but how better we connect and use kind of thing. And in fact, the gentleman is so good with all his shortcomings. He's taken it as positive. That is a role model for all of us to just take on. And I think if we have learned something today, also his slides, speaking beautiful slides with one or two words, that remains in our mind. Color, for example, that bike accident, and it's I think very powerful bike also. It remains. Visual effect, they call it. So you have done a wonderful job here, and request is keep coming, because Anil and company loves such intense people with emotional people. We are like-minded people. Keep coming. It costs only 1 hour, 15 minutes time weekly. And you get to know two books and two authors, and then great personalities like Smita and what is the Tapper, she has gone, I think, and those people will be there. And earlier story by you, Smita, you are repeatedly coming with some stories, and you bring that action, the conversation language, because that is the latest author workshops or other coaches all over the world is now making it conversation.
Yes, sir.
That's what is going. But you can always write something different that can become a trend also. You are capable of doing that. And Anil and the company, this Bookery Club, is really doing wonderful job, because it's extending to Malayalam, Tamil. In India, I think almost all languages it will come in another 1 year's time, 2 years' time. So all the very best. Thanks for both review. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Neetu, let's call Chariza from Philippines. She's a good friend of Robin, Paul, and even myself.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Yes.
Well, I have heard about it many times, about the story of Robinson. I could only say is that being different can make a difference. So I really appreciate what has been told, has been said, and an inspiration. Bouncing back is very difficult. It's really hard, because sometimes when you bounce back, sometimes you don't know where to start, how to start. But as I see all of you here in e-Bookery, you know how to start all over, or do a what we call a redo. Let's have a redo of everything, with top of mind that I have to be better. I have to make whatever things that I have. And Robinson, you really inspired everyone. You inspired me and everyone else, not only here in this platform, but if we see you personally, it would inspire us more. And of course, for the Angel Writer, I would like to say congratulations and kudos to you, because Paul, you are not just a great writer, but you are a good friend. So I thank you for that. And good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair,
Thank
for
you.
your wonderful review. Anyone would like to say a few words again?
Yeah.
We call
Chitra
someone.
ji, Dr. Sujitra, it's open now. Please feel free to come on to the platform and speak few words if you like to.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, all of you. It's been a little difficult for me today with the internet connection. However, I tried my best to listen to all the discussions. The first discussion, I could be thoroughly there, and I really felt it's so very a common story it was. And trust me, it happens. It happens even in the educated society, even with the moms who are supposed to be the educated, as we call it, the bookish education, and it happens. And yes, we, as I also commented in the chat box, I think we, in such discussions, will definitely reach out to many, and we need to change this mindset. Then coming back to the bouncing back, yes, I think this is the wonderful thing that we all need to be very much aware of. That is what is needed, and we need to teach all our, every time, whatever I listen to, I relate to my students. I think that is what we need to teach our young generation, that we need to learn to take failures. I will just give you a little very personal instance. My daughter is in class 12, and she is got 97% in her 12th grade. However, we are expecting that she's going to crack her medical entrance examination. Day before yesterday, she just broke. And she said, I don't think I'll be able to do it. And as a mother, I just said, it's okay. You give a try, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, there is no issues at all. There are many stages, many courses that we can take. So this is something we need to teach, and yeah, we need to, as an individual, yes, we need to bounce back. Thank you so much for making me part of this, and truly speaking, it's really encouraging with such discussions, and I feel so great with such eminent personalities being here. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sujitra ma'am, for sharing your views. And it is really important to bounce back. Life never stops. It flows like a brook, holy brook. We have to flow, keep on flowing, keep on fighting, keep on, changing our imperfection into perfection. And that is what actually life desire from us, demands from us. And it is Robinson who came out as a warrior, question your life. You have questioned your life. Why bully? Why I am? And these questions, like Sir Isaac Newton, you have, created this inspiring book, and it is a asset for our society, for our nation. We will all die, but our words will always stay forever, for eternity, and it will go on spreading your life, your thoughts, your your gift, I can say. Your words, your actually fight is a gift. It's a learning thing. So it will keep on inspiring people. Thank you, Robinson. And Shilpa Salve, ma'am, you want to say?
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome.
I just would like to share my view on this. The story is truly inspirational, and I know that he's inspiring hundreds and thousands of people over there. The basic thing where we struggle or we stuck is the war within us. So winning the war within is most important thing for everyone here. And I know everyone is going through some or the other clashes in their own mind, which is created mostly by themselves, right? So other people may not be thinking those things what we are thinking about ourselves. So basically, what we need to take step is winning the war within. That we have to win ourselves first, and then we can all go forward. And this message is given very nicely through this story. That is what I felt.
Exactly, Silpaji. We are best creation of God, and people like Robinson sir, people like who fight, who actually face their that severe, taste this severe situation and came out with some positive thing. There we actually prove that we are really best creation of God. There we prove that we are human, actually human. So Chitra ma'am,
Because
please.
yeah, it's because I realize now when I try to took these kind of steps at my traumatic phase of life, and it was nothing in front of what Robinson is suffering. Like there are many people who are suffering more than us, but we choose to pity on us. The same thing. We are like pitying ourselves, not seeing what others are going through, and we try to take the extreme step. But that moment when my kids stopped me taking that step, like it was on my mind, and I just looked at my kids and I stopped myself taking the extreme step. So now I realize that there are people who are going through and some people do take that extreme step, but they just need to look within. Answers are within, and there is no one else who can save you. That's only you can save yourself.
Yes. Okay, let's hear from Paul sir. Yes, yes, Paul sir. Go ahead. Yes, please.
I hope we still have time. Okay, there's so many things that are crossing my mind as we talk about this. I recently ran a time and stress management course, and I was helping them understand that do not confuse an achievement with an aspiration. Okay, an achievement is I want to be a rich man, I want to be the top of the class. That's an achievement, but an aspiration is who you want to be as a person. And sometimes our personality is based on the achievement, which will cause stress because you don't reach your achievement and suddenly you feel bad. Okay, but what I said is as long as your values are clear, even though you don't see a path, you will never be lost. So you have to understand your values first, even before your why and who you want to be. Put your values in place first. And unfortunately, you can see this go completely wrong with probably the most cruel leaders in the world. They were clear on what they were doing, but their values were pointing in another direction. Okay, that's on the bad side. And another thing that we have to always keep in mind when we talk about the battle within, there's an old story about a man who would bring fighting dogs, and he would always bet on the one that won, simply because he only fed one of the dogs, so he knew which dog was going to win. And he related it, you have two dogs inside of you, they're always fighting. The one that will win is the one you will feed. But we also have to remember that even though we don't feed the other dog, that other dog will always be there. So learning to feel comfortable with that other dog is part of learning how to deal with all of the difficulties we have. Thank you.
So any of you,
Yeah,
Chitra
can I
ma'am?
speak?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am,
yes.
please.
Yes, so it's a wonderful story of, I mean, what you narrated was also excellent, and what Mr. Robinson also, I think definitely it's a inspiring story, as everybody has mentioned. And I think it's more about building resilience in yourself, and so that you can face the adversities of life. And he's a true example for many people who actually break down and give up on life. And I think it's more he's doing a wonderful job of inspiring more and more people who might be feeling low despite of having the best of facilities or situations in life, but somehow they are not happy with one aspect. And I think even Shilpa ji rightly mentioned, I know it's more about self pity. I mean, of course it was brought up by Robinson, but what Shilpa also mentioned was we tend to pity ourselves when things are not going the way we anticipate or expect, but somehow we fail to realize and realize that there are people who are much more in trouble, or who are facing many more adversities. But it is on us. If we are able to build that emotional intelligence within us, that's what we call the EQ. It is irrespective of the the marks or how successful you are in life. But if you are emotionally resilient, emotionally intelligent, you can face all the adversities in life, and that is where the real success lies. Yeah, thank you so much.
We have time, sir. Anil sir.
Maybe we can take a review from both the speakers.
It's a nice book. It's a very inspiring book. You must buy it. Anyone wants to share? SABG. Samina ma'am. Shabla ma'am, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, sure. What I feel is we are so blessed because we have, like all our physical attributes given by God. And yet, as we said, we complain for the small things in life. And we self-pity, we discriminate. And I have seen so many examples of, boys or children, bullying the other people for very fake reasons or for very small things. But here, what Robinson has faced is a major challenge and he's overcome it. That is what I salute him for. And he's so beautifully portrayed it, I mean, he went through so much downfall, but he emerged as a phoenix, a bird, that goes to the ashes and rises high above. And thanks to the gusto, the bravery, and the resilience that he showed throughout. And that's what I think the book must be wonderful, and I'd love to read it. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you. Thank you, Samina ma'am. Anis sir, would you
Yes.
like to give
Let me hear from Robin and maybe Paul sir about their experience on e-Bookery platform. So, in few words, maybe before we conclude the session.
Well,
Well, first of all, I was surprised. Okay. I was glad that I heard Nitus Mita, is that right? Your story?
Yeah, special name, Nitus.
Very clean. What I mean by clean, like I could imagine my daughter talking to me. It was a very simple but very clean story or an account. I appreciated all of your inputs. It allowed me to broaden even my own thinking. And of course, I have to thank Anil for inviting us here. Soon we'll be launching our own in the Philippines. I will be heading that. Okay, with the help of Chat, if she's still here, this Chat. Sorry, she'll also be helping us. But we'll also be launching it in the Philippines, and this is inspiring me even more to do so. Rob?
Yan, thank you. To amaze, this kind of platform, and of course, to all your feedback is great help for me to improve, to more inspire, not only for high profile or for those who are that for those who are millennial, who are who are who are travel. And I also love the story of Little Lisa, a very very inspired story and great story. So thank you for that story of yours, and of course to all the members, thank you so much for listen to my story, and I hope you inspire. And I like to I like to back then for this kind of platform because I know we can talk more or we can inspire more. And at Paul said we are equal to we are soon launching a Philippines to 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 inspire more or to invite more teachers or more writers, authors to share their stories also. So, thank you so much, Sir Anil, for
Thank
your
you so much.
thank you for your invitation. It's a great honor. And actually, this is my dream. You know what? This is my ultimate dream to inspire outside Philippines. This is my dream to inspire all over the world. And this dream is 20 years back, and now it happened. Yeah, I keep asking God, why me? And why me? And I keep asking God, what's my purpose in life? And that answer today. My purpose in life is to share my story, all of you. And I'm too happy for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I
And
think,
Shamla, you want to say anything further?
Shamala ma'am, actually, I think she wants to say something.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for this inspiring story. You went down right to the down and how you come up. Excellent. It is such an inspiring story for everyone when we grumble about small things and you go right to the down, being bullied, being criticized, and then come up with full force and show it and prove it to the society that yes, I am here. And if you can make it, everyone else can make it too. Very truly inspiring. Thank you, Robinson, and thank you, Paul, for your presence in the e-Bookery English. And thank you, everyone, for attending the session today.
Thank you so much.
Sir, are you giving a
Yeah,
conclusion?
no. I think you can wind up the session now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So here we gradually come to the end of today's session. Like every session in the e-Bookery platform of Brain City, I always inspire. I always get inspiration, learn a lot of things, and I must thank Brain City for introducing us such a intellectual people and with different thoughts, stories. So it's a very wonderful platform. I thank all the participants here today for giving their precious time for our session and make it a successful session. And for your reviews, of course, thank you. And Robinson and Paul sir, very, very, very great. Thank you and salute for coming with such an inspiring book and giving us so much inspiration and thought. Thank you. Here I conclude today's session and we'll be meeting again on next, I actually don't know the date, but we are again meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening and take care.
Good evening.
Bye.